Done.
All right, so we are live, and I would like to welcome our audience to today's webinar presentation, a powerful combination campaign-based content marketing, SEO, and social media marketing. Super excited to have Colin Sutz with me as a co-presenter. Colin, you can introduce yourself in just a second. Here's what we're going to discuss today. What is campaign-based content marketing, SEO, and social media? Then we'll take a look at inbound versus outbound marketing. I think it's important to understand the difference there. Then we'll take a look at the individual pieces, content marketing, SEO, social media marketing. Then we'll discuss how to bring everything together. And then hopefully we'll have time for a couple of case studies and some questions and answers at the very end. Colin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself very quick?
Sure. My name is Colin Sutz. I am the National Sales Manager for Social SEO. As I previously mentioned, we were formerly known as Pikes Peak SEO. And interestingly, Chris, Ralph, and our companies considered ourselves fierce competitors up until about a year ago. We are also known as, or have an asset, BoulderSEO.com. In the Boulder market, and so we were often competing for the same customers. As Chris has decided to move more into the teaching and education space, we have moved into the role of helping fulfill the need for people who actually are looking for SEO services rather than performing them themselves. But a little more on me. I was born originally in upstate New York, moved to Colorado in 1986. So when I'm traveling, I tell people that I am from Colorado. I think I've been here long enough to be able to say that. Certainly love being here. I'm a family man, but love outdoors, and as most from Colorado, probably enjoy some Colorado beers and collect a little Colorado barley wine. Been in business since about 1999 and actively in this particular niche a little over 4 years. That's a little about me. Thanks, Chris.
Awesome. Cool. I'm Richard from Switzerland. I moved here in 96. Yeah, I call this home now. I love living in Colorado. It's an awesome place. I ski every Friday in the winter. I have about 20 plus years in digital marketing or experience in digital marketing now, and yeah, it's been a year since we worked together, Colin. It's a blast. We do a lot of calls together. Clients are very happy. We offer organic SEO, PPC, social media, content marketing, all sort of kind of stuff that we're going to discuss here today. All right, enough said. So it's not rocket science what we're going to discuss today, but it really works. And here's proof. This is actually a customer example. And let me just quick check. There's a question. I want to make sure that everybody can see our screen. Yes, no problem there. All right, so this stuff actually works. This is a client. Well, what you see here is Google organic search traffic year over year. The blue line indicates the current year, the orange line the previous year. We helped them in improve organic search traffic by about 36% year over year. However, we also made adjustments to the website, so in conversions increased, and their revenue nearly increased by 200%. It's an e-commerce site. They're very happy, and it's basically we did for them what we're going to show you today here. All right. So the good news is you're going to learn. I think you're going to learn some very interesting stuff. The bad news is that it's just an hour is not enough time to show you everything. However, we do, as Colin mentioned, I specialize in teaching SEO and digital marketing now. And at the very end of the presentation, we'll show you a couple of dates and training opportunities that we have come up here. All right. So what exactly is campaign-based content marketing, SEO, and social media marketing? Well, if you do events on a regular basis, you can build a campaign around that using or deploying content marketing, SEO, and social media. If you do a special offer, a sale, or anything related to products or services, you can build a campaign around that. If you have a product launch, if you launch a new website, those are all amazing opportunities to build a campaign and then deploy those tools, so to speak. All right, let's take a look at a little infographic here that I created. Campaigns, you can either do inbound marketing, which we're going to discuss here today, or you can do outbound marketing. If you do inbound marketing, I definitely recommend that you deploy content marketing, SEO, and social media marketing. All right, let's take a quick look at inbound versus outbound marketing. Inbound marketing is promoting company through blog posts, podcasts, video, ebooks, e-newsletter. Think about anything that sort of communicates with your potential customers. It's in a non-salesy way. Outbound marketing, in contrast, nobody likes to do cold calling, right? Hey, Colin, actually, have you done cold calling in the past?
I did for a long time, but luckily no longer have to engage in that activity.
Yeah, when I started my business career, that's what I did. You know, it was a good experience, but it's definitely not my favorite thing to do. So inbound marketing, it's basically you create demand for what you have to offer. So that's what we're going to discuss today. Here's a nice little infographic that calls that calls it how it is. Interruption marketing, we don't like it. So inbound marketing takes a little bit more time and effort, but the long-term results are usually quite amazing. All right, the case for inbound marketing, 32% of brands are decreasing spending on outbound marketing, simply because we get overwhelmed by the noise that's out there. So, and at the bottom, there's a link to where I got these stats from. 200 million of us have registered a phone number on the FTC's do not call list. We're all sick of being bombarded, right, with unsolicited messages. That's just the way it is. So inbound marketing, it costs less to acquire leads. And will get more leads, like solid leads, out of inbound than by outbound. And per dollar, content marketing produces 3 times more leads. So those are pretty important and interesting facts there. And this is why you should focus your energy on inbound marketing, in my opinion. All right. So content marketing, I know it's often seen as a buzzword, but you know what? It works. That's basically all I do for my website, and it has become a lead generation machine simply through the deployment of content marketing and inbound marketing strategies. I did a webinar with an inbound or like a content marketing authority, Laura Lear. The link is right there. So also invite you to replay that webinar if you have a chance. By the way, all of our registrants will receive a link to the recording as well as the slides. I'll try to get those out to you later on today or tomorrow or over the weekend. All right, very important. If you can combine content marketing with thought leadership, that's the best way to go. I saw that I'm on this journey to establish myself as a thought leader. I author a lot of high quality pieces of content. I now speak at conferences worldwide, so I'm sort of starting to be seen as a thought leader, somebody that knows what he's talking about. So that definitely is the way to go. All right, let's quickly talk about what is content marketing. Content marketing, according to Wikipedia, it's the creation and sharing of media and publishing in order to acquire customers. However, you have to be very careful. You don't want to do it in a salesy way. My recommendation is create as much high quality content that speaks for itself, so people get interested in what you have to say. show that you're an expert in whatever it is that you want to sell to your audience out there. Again, content marketing does not focus on selling, but rather on simply communicating with customers and prospects. And actually, why don't we quickly take a poll here? We already spoke about inbound marketing. I would love to know, has our audience a solid inbound marketing strategy in place? I'm going to open the poll. If our audience could please give us an indication, do you believe you have a solid inbound marketing currently in place? All right. And I have to say, sometimes I have issue with the Mac with these polls, but I do see the results. Colin, what do you think? What's your guess? How many of our attendees have a solid inbound marketing strategy in place?
I would assume less than 50%.
All right, let's see. I'm going to give it 3 more seconds, and then I'm going to close the poll, and I'll share it. Okay, I'm going to close the poll right now, and I'm going to share the results. So hopefully you guys can see it. Again, sometimes on the Mac I have an issue. 22% yes, 52% you was right on, Colin. No, 26% not sure. All right, so I'm going to hide the results. And then I'm going to go back to screen sharing here. And that's where I usually have an issue. That's the issue with the Mac. Hang on, I apologize. Okay. And you should see. Colin, can you see full screen mode?
Not yet.
That's. I apologize for that. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Bang. Can you see my full screen moving right now?
No, not yet. I'm still showing in presenter mode on my side.
Okay. Now it should be fixed. Can you see it now?
Mine is still showing as it. There we go.
Just all right. Apologize for that. Okay. Okay. So by the way, here's a little tip. If you create content on a regular basis for your, if you have a blog or something, make sure put it up on your LinkedIn Longform publishing platform. I know many people don't know what it is. So just do a Google search, LinkedIn Longform publishing platform. It's an amazing way to get more traction for your content. I do it all the time. As you can see, this piece of content, I did 7 tools to perform an SEO website analysis on the fly. It got over 1,200 views, 44 likes, etc. So this is a great way to get more traction to your content. Simply go to your LinkedIn, and then click on publish a post, and boom, there you go. The system will walk you through this process. So that's an amazing way to get more eyeballs to your content. All right, let's talk about search engine optimization. Colin, why don't you briefly explain how search engine optimization works?
Yeah, I mean, I think in its simplest form, we have a demand from a consumer on the left-hand side. These are obviously the people who are searching for goods and services. And then on the opposite side, we have the supply. So we have those who want to provide the product, the answers, the services for that demand. But in the middle, most importantly, are the search engines or databases that can provide those results. Google, Yahoo, and Bing being the most popular search engines, but we listed Facebook and YouTube, LinkedIn, et cetera, on the bottom because we want to make sure that you clearly recognize that those are considered search engines. They have their own unique algorithms, and we should be paying attention to all of them, depending on the products and services that we're trying to promote.
Exactly. You know, in some cases, Google may not be the best search engine for what you have to offer. You always have to think, you know, where does my target audience hang out? You know, if they're on Instagram, you know, you want to have a strategy for Instagram. So do not disregard these other databases or search engines. All right. A couple of numbers here. 250, that's about the main ranking signals in Google's algorithm. There are about, what I read, there's about 10,000 sub signals now. So the Google algorithm is becoming more and more and more complex, and you simply cannot fool Google anymore. That's just the way it is. Google updates its algorithm about 3 times a day. Those are minor algorithm updates, but then we have 3 to 5 big algorithm updates. Colin, what happens when a big algorithm update hits? Like, what have we seen in the past?
Well, you know, unfortunately, many people are adversely affected, but ultimately, always when someone is adversely affected, someone is positively affected. One of the biggest ones that most people are probably familiar with from last year was the April 21st of last year, Google put out an algorithm that if your website was not mobile friendly, you would no longer get priority over those that was. So very big boom in the website redesign industry last year over that major algorithm shift, but we know that there were literally hundreds of them last year, and we don't expect Google to slow down one bit.
Yeah, and actually just before we had a call before, we spoke about the HTTPS update. Do you want to quickly share that update with our audience?
Yeah, I think most of you probably are aware, but ultimately you can have a secure site, which would be HTTPS, or you can have a non-secure version, which is HTTP. We have know that now with one of the new algorithms that Google has put out, that if you go through the process to get on one of those secure servers and secure the HTTPS, it is now a driving factor for SEO. It is a fairly extensive process that you have to go through to acquire it, but ultimately it is one of the newest driving factors that is affecting SEO rankings.
Absolutely. And then 6 to 8, that's the amount of hours that I read every week just to learn about, you know, what's new, because you really have to know that stuff in order to help clients, right? That's the way it is. So we have what we call the 5 pillars of SEO methodology. Basically, if you want to be successful with SEO, these are the 5 pillars that you're going to have to address. First of all, you need to have a technically healthy website. You know, that could include the HTTPS signal. Then your website needs to function in such a way that your website visitors actually, you know, stay on there. They take an action. As you saw before in the example that I gave, we made some updates to that website and increased conversion by a drastic amount. And I tell you, that's a very happy client because they see the results now in terms of dollar signs or dollars increased every month. Then on-page SEO. Starts with keyword research, anything that you can do on your website to tell Google that it's relevant for your target SEO keywords. Off-page optimization, anything that happens outside of your website, including potentially a press release strategy, influencer marketing, adding your website to high-quality database directories, etc. So anything that we can help Google better understand, you know, what our website is about outside of our website. And last but not least, social media marketing has become very important for SEO, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit here. And then, of course,
Chris,
like,
I just want to jump in and just mention on the social media side, you know, we have many people who we chat with who don't think that social media is important to their business. And frankly, there are some businesses where social media will not have the same impact. but please recognize that there is a value to creating those platforms just for the link value themselves. These social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, etc., offer a very high quality link. So even if you aren't going to engage in active social media for your business, it would be very smart to build out those platforms, get those powerful links pointing back your site to help with your offsite growth strategy.
Absolutely. I mean, hate it or love it. It's something right now that you have to do if you want to be successful with SEO. And then, of course, the centerpiece there, content marketing. There is no SEO without content. So that's the way it is. And we'll talk more about it in just a second here. So SEO requires a strong team. In some cases, if you work for a smaller company, you are the team. However, when we work for a client, these are basically the resources that we deploy. We have a manager that develops the strategy, drives the process, analyzes data, manages the team. We have content creators that create high quality content, blog posts, in-depth articles, press releases, white papers, case studies, etc. And then we have a social media expert that takes care of drafting, publishing, social media content, community management, and so on. And of course, if you have a bigger website, you also want to have a webmaster or somebody that understands the technicality of your website. Colin, anything to add there on that team approach?
The only other thing I would mention would be the paid side. Paid advertising, Google pay-per-click, retargeting, remarketing, the paid side of social media as well. We also have a strong team on that side. And while the statistics show that organic is certainly the way to go, we never want to ignore that segment of the audience who would click on those paid ads.
And it's a valid strategy for when your website is relatively new to get some traffic to your website. So there's a lot of value in PPC as well. Okay, so let's focus on on-page SEO, on keyword identification. Colin, how important is it to get the keywords right?
We can't stress this enough. It is the foundation of SEO. I mean, ultimately, as the provider of the services, we have to be in the business of understanding our customer's customer. We need to know what those customers are typing into the search engine in order to be able to promote that business properly. So we can't stress enough, it is truly the foundation of great SEO work.
Yeah, and it's basically the first thing that we do, right? When after taking on a new client, we do keyword research, because if you don't get your keywords right, you're just going to go down the wrong path, and it can cost a lot of time and money to get it fixed. So we're briefly going to show you how to do the initial keyword research, and then also want to show you how to take a look at your existing low-hanging fruit keywords. All right, so I'm going to use one of my examples here. So I host a lot of SEO classes, training in Denver. So it's been about a year and a half ago, I started to do my keyword research, and the first term or keyword that came to mind was SEO classes Denver. All right, so now down the road, my website ranks #1 organically. As well, I figured out how to optimize off-page entities. But let me walk you through that process here. And for the sake of not wasting time here, I'm not going to do that, Paul. I need to figure out how to get that right. Usually, I've done this poll before. Have you done keyword research in a scientific way? It's usually about 15% of our attendees. They actually have done keyword research properly. Colin, what do you think? Out of 10 people that we speak to, how many have actually done keyword research?
Almost none.
Yeah.
Honestly, we find very often that people are using phrases that they use as the provider of their product rather than the phrases that the consumer of their product is using, which can be vastly different, especially with very technical companies.
Exactly, exactly. So let's say, for me, SEO classes Denver is a campaign. The next campaign is a workshop in Denver. So I want to know what other keywords are related to that search term. So one tool that we use is called Google's Keyword Planner tool. It's actually part of Google AdWords. Right there, down there is the link. You actually have to call in a credit card if you want to play around with the tool. You're not going to get charged, but it's an amazing tool. It's free data. So what I got out of this tool for that particular keyword, SEO classes Denver, it told me, all right, so on average, there's about 10 searches per month. If I were to do pay-per-click, it would cost me about $20 per click. So I want to know, hey, what other related keywords are there to that specific keyword? Right there. So that tool spat out, okay, you may also want to optimize for SEO Training Denver, a lot more searches, right? Social media classes, SEO classes, social media training, etc., etc. So now I know exactly, okay, I have a very solid base for what I'm trying to offer, and these are the keywords that I need to deploy for my campaign. All right. Colin, can you just elaborate a little bit on keyword grouping, keyword mapping?
Yeah, ultimately, once we have determined a set of keyword phrases that we're going to target, we then need to map them to each page of the website. We believe that almost every page of your website should be put to work for you. Therefore, we will map specific keyword phrases to specific segments of your business. Very easy to explain with someone who has a variety of products, which means that they will have hopefully a product page or category for each of their services. We want to have a particular keyword phrase that we're targeting on that page and reinforce that with great content. And point links to that particular page. Make sure that, again, we're giving ourselves multiple opportunities not to score under one particular phrase, but multiple variations of phrases to put as many hooks in the water to catch as many fish as we can.
Exactly. And I mean, this is really the one of the most important pieces of a campaign-based SEO effort. Find your 3 to 5 most important keywords that you want to dominate, and then really put them to work over a longer period of time. And we will get to that in the case study portion of this presentation. Okay. This is a little bit more advanced. So we're just going to show a couple of slides, but we figured out how to identify the low-hanging fruit keywords. Again, I recorded a webinar on this topic, and if you're up for it, right there is the link to the webinar recording. But basically, there's a free tool, a Google tool called Google Search Console. It was called Google Webmaster Tools not too long ago. Basically, if you have a website, you 100% need to sign up for this tool. This is how Google communicates with website owners. Even, let's say if your website gets hacked, Google will notify you. So there's a lot of value in having this tool. Also, not too long ago, Google removed the keywords from Google Analytics. Colin, remember when we were able to go to Google Analytics and see exactly what keywords drove traffic to our website?
Well, especially the number one keyword. That's the one that was first taken away from us, the highest producing keyword.
Exactly. So Google is they're starting to hide information, but then they make it available in other forms. So Google Search Console will provide you with a lot of data. I found out that they only provide about 30 to 40% of the data. So you have to, it's better than nothing, I guess, in my opinion. So just once you get to that dashboard, just click on Search Analytics. This will take you to a window where they will show you how many clicks your website is getting. Again, it's only about 30 to maybe 50%. But then here's the beefy part. They will actually show you, hey, these keywords are actually driving traffic to your website. You got X amount of clicks out of X amount of impressions. Your click-through rate is, a certain percentage. And very important, this is the position of your website in relation to this keyword. So this is very important to figure out what keywords are already working for your website. All right, there you can actually drill it down to the page level where you can plug in certain pages, and Google will tell you, hey, this page is performing well for these keywords. So it's invaluable, especially for somebody like us who helps other clients with their SEO. We do a lot of data mining. We go into the nitty and gritty because we really want to get this right. We want to optimize the right keywords for each page. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of this tool. All right, let's talk about the content creation. So now we know our keywords, right? What I recommend, create a content development plan, and start at the end. Pick a date for when you're going to do, let's say, this webinar, and then make your way back a week or like a month before. You're going to do a blog post. 6 weeks before, you're going to do a press release. But I would detail everything. This can be a simple Google Doc or a Excel spreadsheet where you just write down, okay, this is where I'm going to do this stuff at a certain amount of time. This will keep you on track and you actually get things done. Unfortunately, a lot of companies we talk to, they have no plan at all. So this is one of the first things that we help them implement as well. All right. Content development, creation. Do you want to keep it in-house or do you want to outsource it? Let's take a look at it. Developing high quality content, it takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of time, and you know what? It costs money. And here's my recommendation. If you create content, make it as high quality as possible. Colin, do you want to quickly talk about the Google algorithm update that addressed low quality content?
Yeah, there was actually a number of them a couple of years ago with the Panda and Penguin updates, but ultimately, user experience is a big deal to Google. So low quality content generally will mean high bounce rates. People are are not sticking around your site. So think of content as a way to gain an audience, to stay connected and to want to read and engage, increase page views, increase time spent on page, therefore creating a better overall customer experience will help drive results without a doubt.
Absolutely. So I try only to publish the highest possible content. I will sit down on a weekend and write for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I mean, I'm so passionate about what I do, so it's easy for me to, write down my thoughts, come up with high quality content, and it's working amazingly. And we do this for a lot of clients. But it will cost, if you outsource it, and we'll get to that, there's definitely a dollar sign assigned with that. Some tips, repurpose existing content. If you do a webinar like we're doing here today, first of all, you're going to create a landing page where you're going to describe what the webinar is about. You can simply take that content, repurpose it into a press release. Make sure it cannot be duplicate content, but spin it around, make it a little bit different. And then the next piece is going to be a blog post, maybe another blog post. You could even write a long form article where you discuss the topic in a little more detail. So these are amazing ways to repurpose existing content or to really build your campaign content around your campaign. If you have more employees than one at your company, find other people in your company that enjoy writing. Ask them to contribute. I find it an amazing way to develop high quality content, or outsource content development if you have to. Okay, here's what we do. This is one of my templates where, and again, I will share this presentation. We ask them, okay, what's the content type? How many words do you want? What's the topic? Provide us with a short summary, etc., etc. So the more information you can give a content developer, the better. And then also it needs to include your target SEO keywords, etc. This template is working wonders for our clients. All right. If you outsource content development, there's a huge marketplace out there. You can go low end. You can pay $5 on Fiverr.com. That's what you're going to get. Or you can hire a little bit of higher end solutions such as Series. I recently teamed up with them. They will take the pain out of content development for you. They will drive the entire process. They will help with the SEO. But you know what? They will take care of this process. However, what's the catch? It's not cheap. If you're going to outsource content development, you still have to be involved in the process, and you're going to pay for it. It's that simple. Colin, any thoughts on content creation, outsourcing or in-house?
I think it's to your own ability. I mean, ultimately, if you have good writers on staff, if you're a great writer yourself, I think it's smart to, not have to pay for it. Of course, time is money. So that's where I think a lot of people have their shortcoming is good writing takes time, and they may not have the time to do it. So I really think it's to the ability, know your own abilities, know your employees' abilities. If you can do it, take a stab at it. As Chris said, a good team like our team, we take a lot of handwritten content from our clients and cannibalize it to some extent, put an SEO spin on it. So there are a variety of avenues to the end, but I think just recognizing your own abilities of whether it's something you can do yourself before making a final decision of who really should publish that information.
Yeah, absolutely. And in some cases, maybe that's all you need. Content development, and if you're interested, I'm usually able to pass on a discount with these guys Series. So feel free to reach out if that's all you're looking for and you just want this pain to be gone. Okay, here are a few content optimization tips that work wonders for SEO. Meta tags, very important. Every page of your website needs to have a title, description, and a keywords tag. As well, you need to optimize your alt and image tags. The most important tag is your title tag. Keep it to 50 to 60 characters, description tag 150 to 160 characters, and plug in about 2 or 3 keywords, no more than that. Then blog posts should be at least 400 to 600 words. In-depth articles should be at least 1,000 words. Press releases about 400 words. And then you want to make sure include links to other related pages on your site and other high quality websites as well. And of course, if you do a campaign, make sure that all the content that you're developing for this specific campaign, that they're interlinked to each other. Colin, do you quickly want to talk about the importance of links when it comes to SEO?
Inbound links?
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about the inbound.
Yeah, well, and actually, let me just go back on that. Interlinking or linking to your own pages in your website is actually as valuable as obtaining outbound links. So interlinking within your own website is extremely important. Outbound or inbound linking, getting links from quality websites, is still one of the major driving factors of growing the popularity of a website to outrank your competitors. What I think we want to note and highlight is that the quality of the link that you obtain is much more important than the quantity of links that you obtain. Quantity link building was an old strategy that Google used to allow, where people were obtaining massive quantities of low quality links and they were driving factors to successful SEO. That has changed dramatically over the last few years. Now Google is much more concerned with the quality and relevance of the links that are pointing to your website. So keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that when you give away links to someone, to some extent, you're giving away the energy of your website. So it is much more important for you to obtain links and give away as few of them as possible to fill your own cup up to grow the strength of your own website.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure interlink your campaign content and also try to acquire inbound links from other websites. All right. Here are a few more tips on how to optimize your content. Often what I see is that people forget a call to action at the end of the content. We spend so much time and effort on creating high quality content, and all of a sudden at the end we're left hanging with, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, sign up for this webinar, download the white paper, etc. And then, of course, it's always a good idea to install goal tracking in Google Analytics. That's a little bit more advanced, so we're not going to cover this in depth here. All right, let's talk about the importance of social media marketing for your campaigns. Let me show you right here. Colin, Google and Twitter, they recently teamed up. So now if something is trending on Twitter, there's actually a really good chance that it will show up in Google's search engine results pages. And in fact, I write for a pretty well-known website called Social Media Examiner. And it was about 4 or 5 months ago, I wrote an article about LinkedIn and SEO. And I saw that a ton of people, honestly, thousands of people, they retweeted that piece of content. So I typed in LinkedIn and SEO, and boom, right there, Google actually showed the trending tweets about that piece of content. So I saw proof right there. Any thoughts on social media, especially tweeting, Colin?
Yeah, Chris, we also had this conversation earlier today that tweeting sends Google a notice to come back and index your site. So as you are attempting to make changes to your site, tweeting makes a lot of sense to get Google to recognize what you're trying to accomplish, whereas without it, sometimes their cycle can be 30 to 45 days before they're recognizing. So it's great that they partnered together and gave people the opportunity for their content to be recognized more quickly. The only thing that I would also mention that Chris said about those trending topics is those aren't necessarily going to be long-lasting results. However, it is exposure. So any and all exposure, in our world is good news and additional opportunities to gain new customers.
Yeah, exactly. So by the way, when I put up a new landing page for a new event, what I do, first thing, I go to LinkedIn. I post a status update about it. I put the link in there. Then I do a Google Plus status updates and Twitter status or a tweet where I include the link. And I can guarantee you that page is going to be indexed by Google, and it's actually going to show up sooner than later in the searches. All right. Just to give you a visual representation here, this is basically how Google sees your digital assets, so to speak. That could be, your website, your social media platforms, your, press release that you put out there. These social media platforms, they really help Google better understand who you are and what your website is about. Make sure in all your social media profiles, you're going to put a link to your website in it. Make sure your social media profiles are 100 complete, and they need to have a link to your website. This helps Google better understand, what your website is all about. And so when you do social media, you'll actually get that juice from your efforts. All right. So how are we going to bring everything together when it comes to campaign-based content marketing, SEO, and social media? Well, I do basically everything campaign-based. So I just want to show you, proof is in the pudding. Those are the keywords that I showed you earlier in the presentation. I now rank organically #1 for all of these keywords. I built several campaigns. I did a ton of webinars. I did a ton of these classes, and I always do it campaign based. I do press releases, I do these landing pages, blog posts, etc. I now rank organically #1, and I tell you, these classes usually sell out way in advance. All right, so I do blog posts, I do press releases, I do these guest articles where I also talk about what I do about those classes for really high quality websites. If you can do a guest contribution to a high quality site, that will give you a lot of SEO juice. I do write for the Online Marketing Institute, which is amazing link back. I also do other guest blog posts for websites such as R Factor, etc. Here's a real customer case study where we do bi-monthly online events, webinars. We do weekly blog posts, 2 personal LinkedIn status updates, a LinkedIn company page status update, LinkedIn group postings, Facebook, Google Plus posts every day, 2 tweets each day. These are the results. 150% increase in organic search traffic from Google. 20% organic growth of social media followers per month. 150 to 250 webinar registrants. 30 to 40% new leads per event. I mean, it goes on and on and on. We get 4 to 5 pieces of newly developed optimized content for the website. So it's really a gift that keeps on giving back. And these webinars, they generate about 60 to 80 new leads per month, just because we deploy this campaign-based effort over a long period of time. So it's a lot of work, but it definitely pays off. All right, that said, we have a few upcoming in-person events here. Colin, you and I and Greg, we're actually speaking next week, January 12th, in Colorado Springs. Do you quickly want to say something about this event?
Yeah, so ultimately that's fastly approaching. I think that's 5 days from today.
Yeah.
We are speaking at the Cheyenne Mountain Conference Resort. We're calling it an SEO crash course. I think directed towards a beginner to intermediate audience. It's going to be a half-day session. We're going to do 4 hours. Some of the same topics we covered today, but in a little bit more detail. It was designed for people who were looking to perform some SEO themselves on their websites. So just a little bit more advanced than the webinar today, just an opportunity to kind of meet some of the team members who might be involved if you were looking to outsource, but also an opportunity to be able to further your own knowledge to be able to perform some more successful SEO for yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, and then a couple more half days and full days. That said, we are at the end of the presentation, and I think we have plenty of time for Q&A. So let me see if we already have some questions here. So if you would like to submit some questions here, let me see. Let's get started, Tom. What's the minimum investment, hours, week, and how long would a business, craft brewery, would need to dedicate resources to this marketing effort in order to see a measured lift in customers and sales? Wow. Colin, I'm gonna let you answer this question or start with.
Sure. No, happy to. I mean, ultimately, the investment is a little bit of a difficult part to answer due to we really don't have standard or set pricing. It is based on the scope of the project. I can tell you that if you hired and fully engaged with us, our average customers are spending a little over $1,000 a month. Closer to the $1,350 a month range. Certainly we have less expensive and less aggressive packages and more expensive and more aggressive packages. In regards to timing, with engagement, we expect to start seeing results in the first, generally about 6 weeks. Usually 4 to 8 weeks, we start seeing some momentum in regards to movement and rankings. A lot of this, though, does have to do with the level of competition. So we have to take a very good look at the market, do some competitive analysis, see how strong the competitor sites are that we will be rallying against, and that will give us a better opportunity to provide some timelines. We're careful not to make guarantees on that. We are not Google themselves, so we consider ourselves to be Google experts, but ultimately timelines certainly are different dependent on the level of competition and the strength of the website once we get our hands on it. It's going to take much longer for a brand new website to overtake a market than it will a seasoned website that has some links. Google's indexed it many, many times and more clearly understands what they've been trying to accomplish. So a little bit of a loaded question, but ultimately, as we can look at a very specific market, we can give some more specific answers.
Awesome. All right. Let me see. Do you have good recommendations for content calendaring tools? I prefer Google Docs because then we can share it across platforms. Our clients, they usually understand Excel format. So I stick to Google Docs, but there are a ton of online tools out there. Just do a Google search, see what you prefer. I'll stick to Google Docs. Then, Colin, how many keywords can we optimize for?
No, that's a great question. Interestingly, the size of your website will usually limit the number of keyword phrases that we can target. There is something that can be oversaturation where we are attempting to target too many keyword phrases per page, which can have negative results. So ultimately, again, the size of your website will determine the number of keyword phrases that you can target. We as a company never limit the number of keyword phrases that you can target. If the existing size of your website simply can't accommodate the number of keyword phrases we would like to target, then we just simply start building landing pages. We will grow the size of your website to be able to accommodate what we call your keyword universe.
Nice. Let me see. Do you tie in the search engine keywords to your content creation? Do you reference the keywords directly in your articles? Yes, absolutely. Make sure, let's say, if you choose 3 or 4 keywords or 5 keywords for your campaign, you want to make sure that you use those keywords in basically every piece of content. And usually a good recommendation, put your most important keyword in the first paragraph. I see that that's been working well. All right. Let me see. Colin, do you have any other questions on your end?
I don't at this time.
Let me see.
Oh, I did see a personal one about where I was from in upstate New York. I think anyone who knows, we call anything that isn't New York City upstate New York. So I was more from the southern part of the state, outside of Binghamton, New York. I grew up in a little tiny town called Owego, New York.
Owego, excellent. Let me see. Are your LinkedIn lead gen campaigns paid or organic through company posts? Good question. So usually organic through posts, but it's a whole LinkedIn. It's a whole other topic. And actually, I recently presented at the LinkedIn Success Summit. I spoke about how to use LinkedIn and SlideShare for SEO. And I'm actually going to put up soon a piece of content on my website where I talk about this topic. So simply go to Boulder SEO Marketing. Should be up hopefully within a month or so. All right. I think, let me see. I think that's it. If you have any more questions, I invite you to send them to us right now. Let me check the chat. No. Hey, Colin, any last thoughts? What's your most important tip or big takeaway for our audience here?
Yeah, interestingly, there are so many pieces to the puzzle. So I think, going back to that question that was asked about outsourcing or insourcing content is know your abilities. Lean on professionals when you need them. Take advantage of your own abilities when you can. There are many pieces to these Google algorithms, and they are ever changing. I think what you would like about us, and I hope it came through on this webinar, is that we really take a consultative approach to help our customers. We want them to understand. There is unfortunately some negativity surrounding our industry that people think it's smoke and mirrors, but there really is an art and science to what we do. And so, we are here to answer low-level questions and high-level questions. We have the right team behind us, and we'd love to see each and every one of you succeed in 2016 and beyond.
Excellent. Okay. Hey, Colin, I had a blast. Thank you so much for joining me in this presentation. We'll send. I'll upload the recording right after this, and also the link to the presentation. And then I'll send everybody your email as well. And then we'd love to see you again sometime soon. Colin, I'll talk to you very soon again, right?
Okay, sounds good, Chris. Thank you for letting me join, and thank all of you for joining us and giving us your time. We know it's important and a lot of value there. So everybody have a great afternoon, and thank you again.
All right. Thanks. Bye bye.